Hi friends, it's Jana Eubank back with another Hip Kit Club layout. Today I am working with the August 2023 kits featuring the gorgeous Sunshine and Lemonade collection exclusively designed by Hip Kit Club. Now this week we are doing recipe challenges, and these are the items that I'm going to be using on my layout today. If you haven't done a recipe challenge before, it's where you give yourself a random list of products, whether from a kit or from your stash, and challenge yourself to use all of those items on a scrapbook page. So today I'm going to be featuring mostly the Layered Floral Die, but you saw my list there. I have a total of 6 items that I will be incorporating onto this page. Now to start out, I'm using all of the gorgeous pattern papers, of course, to create a basic layered background. I'm just placing some of pattern paper strips on the right hand side, and how I selected those was I just went ahead and found 4 that I thought looked well together, and now I'm just of course featuring that citrus twist paper on the right hand side. I love that paper, and then I picked out some complementary papers to go with it. The pink rectangle pattern in the background is called Color Club, and then I'm using the lemon strip from the freshly squeezed paper, the branding strip from the Azure cardstock kit, and then the mini floral, which is called Stroll in the Park. All right, so let's break out those dies. I have the cardstock colors all cut out. I used the clementine, tutti frutti, and lemonade to cut out several of the flower colors or flower layers, and then I'm using the lime zest for all of the leaves. So I'm also pulling in the inks, the Distress Oxide inks from the color kit, just to add some subtle shading to the edge. Here's a little look at the comparison. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you can see that there is a little bit of a darker shading on the ones that I have inked. And so I did use that squeezed lemonade Distress Oxide on all of the yellow layers, and then the saltwater taffy on all of the tutti frutti pink and clementine orange layers. So there you have a peek at that saltwater taffy inking. Next, I'm pulling out a flower shaping tool and a soft foam pad to go ahead and add some shape to each of these flower petals. Now, if you don't have one of these ball type flower shaping tools, don't worry about it. You can use like the back of a spoon, or if you have like a pen that has a rounded end to it, or like a marker, you can use that. And just use the end of it to kind of, give your flowers petals some a cupped shape to them. So I went ahead and left the base layer of these flowers flat, and then the rest of the layers I did add that dimension to. So now the layered flowers on their own, if you just want to cut out a single layer of each of the flower pieces, you will get more of like a cartoon or coloring book type look, but I wanted my flowers to have more of a realistic look to them. So that is why I cut out multiple layers. If you look at flowers in nature, they never have just like a single ring or a single layer of petals. So look to nature to be inspired, and for this flower I did go ahead and cut out 2 of the basic flower petal shapes, and then I cut out 2 of the spiky flower details to kind of create a spiky flower center, and then I did the smaller flowers to use as sort of a frame for my flower centers. Now for the flower centers, of course, I'm going to pull in those beautiful pearl stickers that are featured in the main kit. So I'm using the green pearls on all of the orange flowers, both the small ones and the large ones, and then on the large pink flowers and the small yellow flowers, I'm using that golden orange. It's not like a golden orange yellow color of the pearls. Now that I have all of my flowers ready to go, before I start adding leaves to them, I'm going to arrange them on my page around my single photo, kind of in a cascade. It's almost like in the shape of the letter C, and it's just cradling that photo. So I've arranged them there, and then off camera I went ahead and adhered them to the page using some foam tape. I did tuck several of them behind the photos, and then the rest of them are touching the edge of the photos or touching another flower, just to make sure they all feel really connected. Now before I go in with the leaves, I'm going to place some of my die cuts, or not die cuts, but some of my embellishments and my title, just so I can fill in the empty spaces with those leaves. Now, when I went to place my title, I knew that I wanted the word friendship to overlap some of the leaves, so I'm going to bounce back and forth kind of from putting leaves on and putting embellishments on, just so I can place my embellishments where I want them to go and then fill in the empty spaces with the leaves like I mentioned before. For my title, I'm using the letter stickers, the foam letter stickers that came in the main kit, and then I'm using the June alphabet die to die cut out the larger word table. My title is Friendship Table because my daughter and her friend nicknamed this table in our front yard the Friendship Table because that's where they hung out all summer, chatting and gossiping and having, laughing and having treats like drinks and sodas and popsicles. And so all of these die cut shapes that I'm adding here will kind of nod back to that memory of having treats as they were talking as well. So I went ahead and got the title in place. I'm adding some of those cardstock ephemera die cuts to the right edge of my page. I will also add, or to my photo, I will also add one to the top of the photo as well. Now my photo is a 3.5 by 5 inch photo. And to give it more presence on the page, I did layer it up several mats behind it with the cardstock kit. I like how that brings a lot of color to the center of the page as well. And of course, all of the flowers framing out this photo are really going to highlight it as well. So when I die cut the leaves, I first cut a 4 by 12 inch piece of the lime zest cardstock, and then I just cut out as many branches as I could. First, I started with that large branch, and I cut about 8 of those, kind of maneuvering it around on the cardstock there. And then there's another leaf branch that has a trio of like little small leafy branches, and any space that I had left over, I just would, cut that little scrap and line it up with the branches on that die and cut out all of these leafy branches. And so here I'm just combining all of those single leaves together along with the leafy branches to create a really nice textured look to these flowers, and I love how it's looking. Now, as I do this letter C around my photo, I almost end up closing it up to a letter O because of the die cuts on the right hand side. And as I notice that, I'm going to end up keeping my embellishments along that line, which is the letter C, but as it starts to form a letter O, I just go ahead and embrace it and keep those embellishments on that letter O. It's probably more of a diamond shape than a letter O, especially now that I'm adding in this final little branch here. It does create that diamond shape. So here's a closer look at all the texture that's going on with these flowers. So pretty, right? Okay, next up on my list are the acetate hearts. So I pull those out and I'm going to audition in some of the pink ones and the orange ones. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a mixture of colors, but I do end up going with all orange acetate hearts. So you can see that I've placed those along that diamond embellishment line around my photo as well. Now so far I've used the layered flower die cuts, I've used the cardstock kit, I've used the cardstock die cuts, the acetate hearts, and now I need to add in some puffy stickers. So I'm adding some butterflies next to the acetate hearts. I'm also sprinkling in some of the puffy hearts. Now let's see, I've also added the alphabet die. So at this point I have finished my list, but I want to keep embellishing. I only had a couple of butterflies on that puffy sticker sheet, so I did head on over to the vellum stickers. They're called the clear stickers in the embellishment kit, and I picked out a couple of those just to round out those butterflies along that diamond shape of embellishment on this page. And then I decided that I wanted to keep to add some puffy stickers towards the center, like on the photo. So I decided to add one next to that white oval die cut. And I chose to go with that pink teacup shape. At first, I put a lemon there, but I decided I had so much lemon on this page already with the small yellow flowers and the lemons on the paper, so I switched that out to the pink teacup. So I went ahead and added my journaling strips to the space in the upper left corner of this page, and then I have a date strip that's going to go down by my title. The date strip looked a little lonely by itself, so I did pull out the Pocket Life kit and I cut out one of the phrase strips to pair it with that date strip, and I think that worked well. This page is pretty much finished, but I felt like my title needed a little more pizzazz. So what I'm going to do is just peel up the top portion of the letter L. I'm going to wrap this thin crochet twine around it several times and just tie it into a bow. I like that because it adds some texture to the title. You know, we have so much texture going on with those flowers that title just needed just a little bit more. So here is a close-up look at all these fluffy flowers. I love how these beautiful flowers came together. I hope you will pick up the Layered Bright Flowers die that was released in August 2023 and give it a try. All right, guys, this is Jana Eubank for Hip Kit Club. I hope you enjoyed seeing this recipe page come together. Come see what the other designers are making as well, and maybe challenge yourself to use those same lists on your next page. All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the channel. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.